Am I the asshole for refusing to share or donate to my good friend's fundraiser? We're all mid-30s here. My very close friends, a married couple, have a young child who has some serious health issues. Insurance covers most of the things he needs, although my friends go above and beyond to make sure he has anything and everything that could possibly give him a better shot at living a long healthy life, so they probably spend more money on him than you'd spend on a typical healthy child. They make six figures and live in a large house in a good neighborhood. They recently took out a loan to put an addition on their house to add a new playroom for him, nothing to do with his conditions, just to give him bonus space to hang out. Shortly after they took out this loan, their insurance denied their request for something they felt their son really needed. It was $8,000, so they got a new credit card, with an introductory 0% APR, and bought it for him. Several days later, my friend announced that they'd made a crowdfunding page to help pay off the credit card faster. On the page itself, she just explained his conditions and why he needs this thing, but no details about their financial situation. To me, she said they need help because they wouldn't have taken on the project with their house if they'd known insurance was going to deny them this. They shouldn't have to pay for this themselves, and this will really slow down their plan to pay off their debt. She asked me to share their fundraiser to my friends. I have a lot more followers than her. I politely declined, and she was furious. She accused me of judging them for needing help, and of not loving their son. I do love their son very much, but I suppose I am judging her for thinking she needs help. I view crowdfunding as something for people who are desperate, who really need charity. My friends are people who live and eat well, have clothes to wear and a roof over their head, who don't think twice about ordering a new toy or game or kitchen gadget from Amazon, and who have willingly taken on tens of thousands of dollars in debt for something they definitely don't need. I know the extra $8,000 was not something they'd planned for, but it's also not going to break them. They make double what I make and probably triple what half my social media friends make. I don't want to share their fundraiser to a bunch of people who don't really know them, and who might think that my friends are in a desperate situation. I think it's a better use of money to donate to people who really are in bad shape, whose electric is about to be shut off, who don't know where their next meal is going to come from, that kind of thing. My friends are not speaking to me at the moment, so I'm asking Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit to answer some frequently asked questions. I have a niche interest that has gained me many thousands of followers on social media. That's why she specifically asked me to share it, because that would let it reach a broader audience than just sharing it among family and friends. I don't want to give too many personal details on his conditions, but he has a normal life expectancy and none of this is life or death. It is a lot for them to deal with and I don't want to belittle what they're going through, but to the people thinking he's about to die of cancer or something, it's not like that. The GoFundMe is for $8,000 for the thing to help his condition, not for the playroom. The playroom is relevant, in my mind, because they willingly took on $80,000 in debt for the playroom prior to finding out the insurance wouldn't cover the $8,000, but are now balking at taking on this additional $8,000 that they shouldn't have to pay. I don't think you're the asshole for not sharing or donating. I too believe those are for desperate people. Some people take advantage of the fact that they get free money. Not the asshole. I wouldn't personally share the reasons with my friends because of the likelihood of being called an AH. But I also personally feel that your reasons are very sound and normal. People tend to judge each other for judging others, 'tis the human condition. No one, except billionaires, is an asshole for not donating their money, no matter the cause. Not the asshole. They don't need help. They just want lower their debt quicker. That is a wish of all people with debt. Not a need. Also I think they are becoming irresponsible. Sure, the kid has heel issues. But they blow money on something their son doesn't need instead of saving money for future needs. Not the asshole. I would report their page as well. These people do not need help or donations. Can you make an anonymous comment about how much they earn, the approximate value of their home, etc.? So people know they're donating to entitled rich people. Not the asshole. No one is obligated to donate to or advertise a request for charity. Just consider that maybe they are bad with money and not as well off as you'd think though. Still not your problem. Am I the asshole for not allowing my little cousin with special needs swim in my pool? My husband, 32, and I, 26, bought and moved into our first house about 4 years ago. We have a pool in our backyard, and we love it. We have family gatherings at our house fairly often. I have a large family, and we are all very close with each other. We love having all the kids over to swim, and we welcome them over pretty much whenever they want. Well, one of my cousins, 38, who lives out of state has only been to my house maybe only a handful of times. Her daughter has special needs. She, 12, has Fragile X syndrome, FXS, and has the mental capacity of a 4-year-old. She also has severe bladder and bowel control issues. She also needs constant supervision because she has a habit of screaming and biting herself if she gets stressed out. I love both of them to pieces, and love when they do visit, but when they do, I cover the pool and keep it off limits. When I first moved in, she had an accident in the pool, even though she was wearing a pool diaper. It caused a big mess, and we had to hire a cleaner who ended up having to drain the pool. After that accident, my husband and I mutually agreed that it wouldn't be a good idea to let her swim here anymore. She's more than welcome to visit, but we would just make swimming off limits. Well, my cousin tends to get offended whenever she feels like her daughter is singled out, so to avoid making her feel that way, we just cover the pool, and make it off limits for everyone for the time that they are with us. Every time she comes over, she asks why the pool is covered. We lie and say that there's a filter issue, and we're waiting for the pool cleaner to come fix it. Everyone else knows the truth, and covers for us if she ever were to ask. Well, a few weeks ago, she called me and angrily confronts me. Turns out my aunt, her mom, threw me under the bus. She accused me of never loving her daughter and hate it when they visit. I told her that that was completely untrue, but she wouldn't listen. She said that I'm a despicable page O.S. for not accepting her daughter, and should be happy to clean up after her. I told her I was sorry that I made her feel that way, and that I didn't mean to, but I just didn't feel comfortable having a child with severe incontinence swimming in the pool. Then she said that they're never visiting ever again. My husband agrees with me. The rest of the family is understanding, but feel that I should be more understanding of her struggles. So now I'm wondering if I was wrong. So am I the asshole? Edit. I've seen a lot of people ask how much and how long it took for the pool to get cleaned and refilled. The full service was about $550, and it took about 2 days to drain, clean, and refill. I've also seen a lot people asking why I didn't make her pay. Unfortunately, her daughter's care is very financially demanding, and requires financial aid from the government. Because of that, we didn't feel right about asking that of her. Plus my husband and I are fairly financially well off, so the cost wasn't really an issue for us. Also, a lot of people are suggesting to buy a kiddie pool just for her, and ideally, it would be a great idea. Unfortunately though, I think my cousin would still feel like we're singling her daughter out considering nobody else would be using the kiddie pool. I would just like to thank you all for your input. You guys are right. I should have been honest with her in the first place instead of trying to hide the truth from her. I plan to give her some space for a while, and when she's ready to talk, I will most definitely apologize for that. This has been very helpful, and I thank you again. Smile. Not the asshole. You made reasonable accommodations in a way not to single out a child or make them feel it's their fault. Not the asshole. Your aunt is big time though. It's not your cousin's fault she can't control herself. Having special needs is hard, and there are going to be many things your cousin can't do. Cleaning out a pool every time she makes a mess is expensive and not fair to you. Tell your aunt that her daughter can use the pool, but if she makes a mess the bill will be paid by the aunt. Not the asshole, but it might have been better to have a conversation with her after you and your husband made the decision instead of making her feel that her entire family was in on you lying to her about it. Maybe if you had said, going forward, we'd prefer if she didn't swim in the pool, it's expensive to drain it and have it filled. We'll keep it closed to everyone while you're here so she won't feel left out, but wanted to let you know in advance in case you want to talk about it. I suspect she's more angry about the deception than the pool. Not the asshole. You went above and beyond to make sure the child was never singled out. You kept others from using the pool in front of her and kept it covered. Not the asshole. Her daughter defecating in a pool is not something she can just clean up. Send her the bill for the last clean up. Let her know that since she is willing to clean up, that you will need a cash deposit for the amount of a current cleanup in case her daughter has an accident again. Am I the asshole for forgetting about my dog and telling my mom I have bigger things to worry about? My husband's little brothers live with us. We had planned on being child-free for many reasons, but there was no way we were going to let them two go into foster care or whatever. They're only 3 and 4. I don't know how true this is, but we were told we would likely never see them again if we didn't take them in. It was hard. I don't regret a bit of it, but we had to change many things. We're definitely losing money a lot faster now too, and sadly, we even had to give my dog away because the 4-year-old is terrified of dogs and was having panic attacks every time he saw her. My mom was horrified. She hates that I had to sacrifice so much even though I never signed up for it, which I suppose I understand. She mostly despises the fact that I gave our dog away. I get that too. I was so heartbroken over it, I cried. But unlike what most people think, the constant exposure was making the 4-year-old worse. Not even therapy was helping because he was so overwhelmed already. My mom thinks I did a cruel thing and says my priority was the dog. I feel guilty. But I'm so busy with the kids and I kind of have bigger things to worry about, insensitive as it sounds. I know my dog's safe with loving owners, and I've moved on. I was having a really tough day yesterday. My boss is being harder on me ever since I took a break to focus on the kids, so I had to deal with that. My husband's working overtime and the kids were having a bad day and were sobbing over everything. The older one refused to eat, and even threw a bunch of my things on the floor. My mom then dropped by for a quick visit. I was already on edge, so when my mom barged in talking about how she can't stop thinking of her, I was so lost. I was waiting for her to say a name, but she kept referring to this her by pronouns and vague references. I was also cleaning up the broken glass and making sure the kids were fine. I kind of just went, "I'm sorry, but who the hell is her?" My mom's jaw literally dropped and she was all like, "You don't know? You actually don't know? What on earth is wrong with you? She's been with you for years." Then it clicked. I felt bad, but again, bigger things to worry about. Told her as much. I just told her to leave. She was shaking her head at me the whole time and said I was practically a sociopath. She understands my choice but thinks I'm a cold-hearted bitch because I forgot about my dog. I kind of feel like one as well, but at the same time, I've just moved on to kids that require all my attention. I sometimes forget to shower, embarrassing as it is. Am I the asshole? Edit. Just wanted to clear some things up. Us taking the kids in was a no-brainer. Can't really ask my family to take them in. They were never really an option, and most of my husband's family are just as bad. His sister refused to take them in for whatever reason, so the only ones left were me and my husband. I loved my dog to bits. I miss her presence sometimes too, but I would make the same decision again. The 4-year-old's fear wasn't obvious from the get-go. He tried so hard to be brave, but his fear was so overwhelming that he started getting panic attacks. It was later revealed that he has a lot of trauma related to dogs and we just couldn't put him through that. Someone suggested living in separate residences. These kids need constant attention and a stable family unit. The older one has several issues and the 3-year-old isn't without them either. Heartbreaking as it is, I cannot think of anything else I could have done for my dog. Not the asshole. Sounds like your mom is on one about the dog. Unfortunately, people have to give up pets all the time when they have children. Some pets are a legitimate danger to children. It is sad, but it is not like it is uncommon. My neighbors directly across the street literally had to do the same thing. They had a dog for a few years before they had child. The dog kept growling at and acting aggressively towards the baby. Their only choice was to give the dog away. And it is not like it wasn't the well-behaved dog. It was very well trained. It walked on a leash. It sat and laid down when you told it to. It was loving and affectionate. It just got weirdly territorial about having to share the house with baby. Not the asshole. You make a heartbreaking sacrifice and your mother is being cruel for punishing you. Why could she not have taken the dog if it meant so much to her? At the end of the day, we need to support our children. You are supporting your inherited children, your mother needs to support hers. Not the asshole. If mom is so heartbroken, why didn't she take in the dog? You rehomed her. You did right by the dog and are doing right by your nephews. She wants the dog back, she can go get her or take the kids so you can keep the dog. Not the asshole. I'm a crazy animal lover, and normally, I'd be horrified if someone just dumped off their dog. But, obviously there are some life circumstances that are beyond our control. Your priority should be your kids. You are doing a very kind thing by keeping them with family and out of foster care. I'm so sorry your dog wasn't able to fit into that situation. But if you have to choose between who goes into foster care, the dog or your toddler brothers, the choice is evident. Your mom sounds interesting. Info. Why didn't your mom step up and take in either the children or the pet? Would I be the asshole for arguing with my mother about her letting my sister and her 2 sons live at home? Hiya Reddit. I, 16M. Live with my brother, 23, our dog, Fox Terrier, and both parents, 46M and 49F. Our family works perfectly around each other and we all have our place and we all do things with each other that have perfect synergy. Recently my sister, 27, was broken up with by her boyfriend of 7 years. They had a house together and 2 sons. My nephews, for context. The older one, 6, is autistic as am I, and the younger one, 4, is non-verbal. But S boyfriend wants nothing to do with the kids or her and are kicking them out of their house, owned by his mum. My mother wants them to move back into our house but I am completely against the idea. I hate children and my mother knows this. Outhouse is not equipped to hold 4 people let alone 7 as we only have 4 bedroom, one of which is a storage, airsoft room used by my dad. I also believe that it would not be appropriate to have the kids here because our dog as the kids have treated her quite poorly in the past by jumping and shouting at her whenever they come to visit. My brother also does not want her or the kids to stay because he does not think the house is child-friendly, as we have no toys or age-appropriate books and we don't have the space for them. My mother is adamant that they are to return home but that would massively disrupt our schedules. Whenever they visit they constantly want me or my brother's attention no matter what and my sister does not keep them in line at all. They come into my room after I tell them that they aren't allowed in if I'm not there. They constantly touch me after repeatedly telling them I don't like being touched. And the 6-year-old demands that I let him play my Switch, that I bought with my own money. They constantly disrupt my brother as well. Me and him are very into Dungeons and Dragons and we play every week and it just so happens to be the days that my sister brings the kids round. We don't have set days, it's just pure chance. The main reason I am opposed to all of this, is that my days start significantly earlier than the kids and end significantly later. I have school from 8 till 3, and summer 8–2 for summer classes. And work from 4 till 9. After that I like to play video games for an hour or so before going to bed. I don't want to have to work around the kids because I don't want to have to work on a 6-year-old schedule. I also don't want to be woken up a lot in the night due to the 7-hour maximum sleep I get every night to be up at 6 a.m. to walk to school. Both the kids scream and cry a lot. My mother has suggested that my sister and her kids take her bedroom while her and my dad sleep in the living room. My dad doesn't know that this is all going on. So Reddit, if I were to argue against my mother saying that I would find it impossible to live with 2 children and my sister? Edit. For some context on why my brother, 23, still lives at home. He has severe ADHD and generalized anxiety disorder and so takes on a lot of the domestic roles in the house while caring for my mother. He is basically my mother's live-in carer. Apologies for the quick edits. I wrote this in a rush. Edit 2. My sister has been offered a place to stay but it is a 1-bedroom flat with a shared kitchen and bathroom. He does not think the house is child-friendly, as we gave no toys or age-appropriate books. But being homeless is child-friendly? You are the asshole. You are the asshole. Your sister has nowhere to go but there needs to be a conversation about rules, boundaries and discipline. You are the asshole when you pay the bills, you make the rules. Your mother is not going to leave your sister and her children homeless. Sometimes in life, you just have to roll with it. You are the asshole. Your reasons are nothing but selfish. This is your sister who needs a place for her and her children to stay. And your mother's daughter, of course she's going to help her out. Honestly, you sound like a spoiled little brat. My sister and I don't get along that well, but if she was in that situation I would be the first one to offer her and her son a place to live. Besides, your mom and dad own the house and are paying the bills. You really have no say. You are the asshole. It's not all about you. Your mother has to think about all her children and she gets to help out her daughter even if it inconveniences her son.